control of critical functions.
Greetings, all you wild and weirdos and weirdettes out there in wild and weird radio land. It is that is sort of Joe.
Kind of, sort of. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can
Okay,
definitely
I
hear
don't
you.
think I'm going to be able to have enough signal to stream video, but I'm going to hang out in audio land.
Yeah, we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I know you're under some storms out that way, so we'll watch that and see if you can jump on at some point here. The storm should be over, so we'll see what happens.
So let's round these folks down. Can you hear me okay enough for that?
Oh, yeah. Your audio is perfect. You're fine.
Okay, good. All right. We've got John Barnes in the house. What's going on, John, from the West Virginia Bigfoot Project? Good to see you out there, man. Then we've got James Nelson. We've got Donella in the house. Miss Donna Ho is here with us. Power Band Sasquatch, Jordan Booker. Then Anita Allen's in the house. Gary Schuler is here. What's up, Gary? Dances with Orbs. Hey, right back at you. We've got Terry McCullough in the house. We've got Larry Hose and Ada Cox hanging out with us. Happy Thursday right back at both of you.
Absolutely.
Then we've got Jen is here. Ada Cox is kicking in the door, coming in hot. Look at that. She's breaking the ice here for us. Thank you, Miss Ada. You are amazing. And this is for you. Uvaru's in the house. And Rob Posey has made it.
Folks, I just shared a link to our playlist over there, so you all can catch up on the lives if you're new and have no idea what happens here. These are the lives, and it's Wild and Weird Radio Live. That's the name, right? So there's about 84 episodes right now that you can go and watch.
In the archives.
The archives. Yeah, over in the archives. So get that shared out to your friends and your family and whoever else, that you think might be interested in coming over and joining us here on these little discussions every Thursday. We do it every Thursday. And, same time, pretty much all the time, right? 8 o'clock to 10, or a little after 10, whatever. Yeah, 10-ish. So, yeah. So if you guys can share that out, then by all means, please do so. It helps us and it helps to get, this algorithm to push us out farther so people can see us. Also, to let you know, we did start the goal clock up there. You have 2 hours for us to reach our goal. We're working on a tier 2 or level 2 of the prize for the next meeting. We already know what it's going to be. This is just going to determine on what brand it's going to be. Sort of, so we want to get you guys some really cool prizes, and that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you already unlocked the first tier of this, and that was the cards. So here's the prototype card. I told you I'd have one for you. This is my prototype card. So it'll have our symbol on it, of course, there in the center. The interrogate omnia will have whatever your handle is here. This is just an example. So we'll have whatever your screen name is here, right? And then your normal name, your whatever you want to call yourself, right up there. But these are going to the lanyards. So when you come to the meeting, everyone know who you are, right there. So,
and again, these meetings are free thanks to you guys who support these things and help keep them rolling. Speaking of keeping them free, we've got Gary Schuler coming in. Right behind him is Lisa Dancing with Orbs. This is for both of you. Enjoy. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you guys so very, very much. Um, well, before we kick into and go into
John
look
Barnes
here,
is
John Barnes.
joining the scroller bar
So
here. Thanks,
name.
John Barnes, over from the West Virginia Bigfoot Project.
Yep.
If you're not familiar with West Virginia Bigfoot Project, I urge you go check out the Facebook page and also go check out John's YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And here it comes, brother. We appreciate you. If I can get it, there we go. John Barnes there summoned the Sky Daddy, Matthew McConaughey, baby.
As it should be. As it
All
should
right,
be,
all
John.
right,
Thank
all
you
right.
so much.
And if
Pleasure.
for those of you guys who are new and might not be used to that, that is one way that we say thank you to our folks. Ron painstakingly edits and animates all of those 3D renderings for you guys.
Yep.
And you know,
Hey, it's what I do. It's fun stuff, and you know they deserve it. So it's a little something different with that we do around here for everybody, and it keeps it kind of fun because you know we can come on here and be as serious we want to be, but it's always about being having some fun too. So I think that's important. If we don't have fun, we shouldn't be doing what we're doing. So it's got to be some fun involved in this, and sometimes that's just how you do it. You got to create your own fun. That's what we do. But I'll say this. Thank you so much, by the way, for joining that. Every time you do that, by the way, someone manages to throw into the hat for the first time, you do get memorized for forever, memorialized, I guess, forever down there on the scroller that continues to grow longer and longer and longer. That's also something we do for you guys.
Wow, there it is.
Oh, there
Updated.
it is. Go ahead. There you go.
So this show is brought to you by our executive producers, Adam Good, L.W. Marshall, Larry Hose, Eyes in the Woods, John Smirka, Richard Minnick, Luke McCombs, Gary Schuler, Teresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Lisa, a.k.a. Dances with Orbs, a.k.a. Mildly Radioactive, possibly glows in the dark, and I can relate. Finding the Trackway, Tommy Swigger, Pat, Seth Beans Lamille. Go check him out if you're in need of a awesome tattoo. Kenny Hess, Small Town Monsters, of course, James Nelson, and our amazing super chatters, Octopus with at least a few friends, Dewey, the Deucer Edwards, N.W. Hall, Uvaru 235, Spooky Appalachia. That's Jimothy down there in Northern Virginia. Go check his YouTube out if you haven't already. Lady Wolf, LR, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Orednick, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Bigfoot Littlefoot, Terry Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Donna Ho, Angie Breeden, Jen Clower, Jamie Snell, Ike the Fob Daddy Fobber. Was also featured in a new fishing lure magazine here recently, which is stinking awesome. Well, congratulations on that achievement once more. Ashley Hilt of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird, Lotus Flower, Wendy the Pooh Bear, Asher's Creations, Spirit Brothers Paranormal UK, Pat Noble, Kim Drescher. Does this list ever end? Paul Sherman, Rick Skinner, and the newly added John Barnes and the West Virginia Bigfoot Project. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is because of you guys that we're able to keep this show free from behind any paywalls, keep the lights on, and host the West Virginia High Strangers Collective quarterly meetings and keep them free.
Absolutely. And all the other incredible things that we do, thanks to you all. This is your show, and a lot of what we do is because of you guys. So, thank you so much. We can't say that enough, obviously. Where's Jimmy? That's a good question. Jimmy's probably working.
Jimmy, in case those of you who don't know, Jimmy also runs a dojo now.
Yes, he does.
So aside from his day job, he is out there karate kidding it up as, a 6'4" Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And is living it up, and he catches us on the replay. Then Gary Schuler here says OBC is in a week. Yes, it is. Next weekend is OBC. If you're going to be at OBC, give us a shout while you're there. We're going to be up on the 3rd floor, or as we like to call it, the party deck.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good time.
It'll be a good time. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Gonna have some good stuff there. Gonna be some fun. I did some paintings for there. I got one back here I'm still working on. Got this one back here that we're still working on, you can get it. There
Very nice. Very nice.
See it back there. Yeah. So
Jen asks, where's Pat? Pat will be back here with us in the coming weeks, I'm sure. He's doing as good as could be. We'll just send him some positive thoughts and love. All right.
Yep. And I believe Adam's around here somewhere. At least he should be. I don't know. He kind of shows up and then disappears.
Yeah, Adam's another one. He's got a whole lot going on here recently with jobs and work and being really, really busy.
Yeah. Life will do that to you, man.
It does indeed. I remember when we first started the lives, all of a sudden I got thrust into doing prep work on Thursdays, and I was missing them half the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. So there's a few things happened this week. There was a couple of things that happened this week. We found out, that these UAP hearings are about to, I guess, kick off again. That it's not necessarily going to be anything probably new to us, but apparently, they're actually going to entertain some of this, Grush for one, they're actually going to listen to what he has to, well, they have listened to him, but they're actually going to listen to his recommendations on some of this stuff at this point. He's helping.
Yeah, he's helping. He's been hired on as a permanent staffer.
That's a way to move the ball forward. That's a real way.
Going to be really interesting to see what comes of this. They've already released some of the lineup of who they're going to be bringing in to talk.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't released everybody for the sake of anonymity for some of the people that they plan on meeting with in skiffs.
Right.
They have, however, announced 3 different planned meetings that are on the schedule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a skiff briefing with experts on April 29th. There's a roundtable on April 30th or May 1st. And there's a hearing scheduled for the week of May 12th. So it looks like May is going to be a big time. And what's really another massive coincidence, the final episode of Paranormal Horizons should air that same week.
Indeed.
Unreal.
And it's very, very, we'll say, apropos.
That's the word I'd use. Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes down. We also have later on in the show a exclusive first look at the beginning of the end, so to speak, of that series, and then you'll get to see what happens after that over here, because this story continues.
It does.
It really continues. There's going to be a very, very special, we don't know what it's even going to be called yet, to be honest. We still might just go back with investigations, that we had before the series. If you haven't watched those, go back and watch them. They're back there somewhere on the channel. And they're really good. Those were really cool. And we started those up, and then we got pulled into Paranormal Horizons, so kind of had to walk away from those. So we might go back to doing those, but if so, they're going to be much longer format, and you're going to see some cool stuff. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be cool stuff. So it's going to be good stuff. You'll enjoy it.
You're really going to enjoy it. We'll say that.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I do want to tell you that it's going to be worth the watch, and you're really going to like it. And it's going to be really relevant to some of the stuff that you've seen at this point, I think. So, Larry O's, bless you. Larry,
keeping it free. We appreciate you, brother. Here it comes right back at you.
Bringing down the Mothman right there. That's how we do it.
Larry, we appreciate you, man. You guys, everybody who donates to the show, y'all are awesome. We still like
Incredible.
it doesn't cease
Mm-mm.
to amaze us week after week what you
Nope.
guys
It's
do.
pretty incredible. It really is.
Yeah.
And yeah, as soon as we announce the meeting date, okay, we're gonna figure out a way for you to do this. I might make a form. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I want you to, to be able to get one of these, and they're going to be free. So I just got to know who's coming. So we'll probably put them over on the event
Website.
page. Yeah, it'll be
No,
on
we'll
the
put it up on the website and make it a real form.
yeah. And we'll know how many's coming that way. That's
Yep.
the point, because I've got to have your name before I can make them. These will be made especially for you. So
Yep,
so
we can just put it on an embedded link in the
and it,
a hidden link rather on the website with a real form built into it, and then you guys can fill that out, and we'll have what we need.
yep, it'll work, and that way we'll be able to get them to you at the meeting, and you can walk around, put them on your little lanyard, and you know, and the lanyards were the ones that we gave out were from Danny, um,
Yeah,
who's here somewhere, I think.
Danny Buckner. I don't know if he's popped in just yet. I
Okay,
haven't seen him.
okay. So Danny is the one who managed to make those, and they were really awesome. But yeah. So anyway, you guys have got those. There's your card for it. We've got what we got going on there. What's up? I'll keep saying it. Behind Mothman, there should be a little neon sign that says "Welcome inside the bunker."
I like it.
The welcome inside the bunker. Yeah,
Oz says I think it should say free hugs.
that's even better, actually. Yeah. I don't know. There's some interesting things in his bunkers. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Indeed.
As far as it goes, I think we've proven there's some interesting things in his bunkers at this point, and validated a few things for some folks. So, guys, we're going to be all over the place tonight. Just to let y'all know as far as it goes with the topic, because we're going to be leading up to this, because there's a broader discussion that's going to be coming up on an actual episode, and I wanted to pick some brains, and what better brains to pick than the folks who are actually watching this stuff, and that's you guys, before we actually do that. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Maybe the dome bunkers are the equivalent of chrysalis for Mothman. There you go. That's it. It's a big cocoon.
Now, realistically, this is my opinion, that the bunkers originally held literally no importance until the importance was placed upon them. And so much energy was focused towards making them a point of high strangeness
A thing.
that they became a point of high strangeness.
And I can't say anything contrary to that, other than the data can point to that direction. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We've got Trackway saying his brain has mold.
What?
Well, it's time to throw it out, Trackway.
What? Your brain has mold. Does that mean you had a cheese brain? What is that? What's going on with that? No.
Enzo says, I was imagining a welcome mat thrown outside the entrance with a bite taken out of it. They've got all kinds of ideas.
Y'all good. Yeah. Well, that's exactly why I wanted to run this topic by all them, and before we did the actual, podcast version.
Oh,
of this topic, which will be much, much deeper, and probably won't go down the rabbit holes that we're probably going to go down on this, because there's a lot of them.
LW Marshall.
Multiple
Yes. Oh man, LW, you're awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's get you one up here, brother. Where it be?
I don't know. No, yeah, that was a good one.
I figured, with his thumbnail, it was kind of fitting.
That's fitting. That's very fitting, I think. And you know, you can do a twofer for that because that was a really good donation. There's another alien there that's fitting too, I believe, somewhere.
There is. Here
Yeah.
we go.
By the way, we do have I do have some new alien art that you'll be able to see at our table coming up shortly. Trying to do a little series right now. It's just in prefab workup and testing, and I'm kind of liking it so far. Joe's seen it at this point, so you've seen one of the concepts anyway. So there will be others. Dude keeps stealing my orb.
So, without further ado,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah, he steals your orbs. That's what he does. That's what they do. They steal orbs. Darn things.
there's a lot. We're moving towards a point of literal no return, right?
I think we've already hit the point of no return at this point. I don't think that I mean, there's a return. Don't get me wrong, but it might take, 10, 20,000 years to get there at this point. But yeah, there's a return. Oh, hello, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you. I believe those were a series of class 3. One might call it a flock of
That's a
3.
7. It's a 7.
Class 7,
These
class
are
7.
class sevens, and they can jam the I guess your signal, from what I understand, and mess with you. Although I still haven't seen any jellyfish, and I've talked to other researchers who are doing the same thing, and they agree also. They have not seen jellyfish either.
Yep.
So apparently, it's kind of a rare one.
Yep.
So
It does seem to be very strange. That
yeah,
is
it
for
does seem
sure.
to. It's a really strange. I mean, I got to be right up with you. When I first heard them talking about jellyfish, I'm like, what? And the first thing I thought of was like you said, sky jellies, right? I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. But yeah, what do we got up there? You,
John Barnes
you
says, I want a class 7.
I think I do too. Need some HemiSync trackway, popping some earbuds. Look it up in the tubes. Yeah, that'd be fun. Just go ahead and do that and let me know where you end up.
Yeah, he was saying the hemispheres of his brain weren't talking, so that was
That'll
the solution.
that'll fix it. That'll fix it. Just like that. Jen's got it. She's right on that top of that. That's how you do that.
Enzo, in reference to the class 7s, if they are biological, they may be restricted to particular biomes.
Mhm.
That's not wrong. It could be very
Mhm.
similar to the deep sea fish and how, they're isolated to that pressure range. If they come above it, they start to have major organ failure.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, you could be dealing, let's just go theoretically with this, and say that it's an alien life form or something. It's been here forever, right? Well, they might know more about this planet than we do, and they might be able to see things that we can't see because their eyes work a little different than ours, so to speak, or whatever. And maybe
Yeah.
they tame those things and use them, like we use horses and like we use, well, we use everything pretty much. It's what humans do. So it's not far to say that someone else or something else may do the same thing. It may literally, you know what? That's a stock jelly. We use those to, they have a unique ability. They can jam frequencies and make things, go wonky when these guys are looking for us. Okay, we train those. That's what we do.
Yeah.
There's a, I could see that. Like sometimes it may not all be 100% technology based. You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Julie Bug says, I'm late to the party, so I want to know where is Joe's head? In
It's
a
in a
jar
jar.
on a desk.
Wow, that was
Now,
weird because he can't even really see me talking right now.
oh no, I
But
can
yeah.
see you.
Oh, you can see me? Okay.
Yeah, I can see you. You guys just can't see me.
Oh, we
So,
can't see you. You're just floating head.
yeah,
As
we're having a pretty gnarly storm here on my end of the state, and my internet has diminished by, say, about half the normal speed. So, it can't quite handle video without me looking like I stepped fresh off the pages of a Super NES strategy guide, and
That's
therefore
all right.
audio is the preferred method in this situation because
Yeah,
at
he
least
looks.
you can hear my audio nice and clean.
Yeah, yeah. He's at least 16-bit, if that.
Yeah, if
So
that.
it's pretty bad. Yeah. So I was talking to Mario for a second there. And I don't mean the really good rendered Mario 64. I'm talking about the original little pixel guy in the original.
Chasing
Yeah.
Donkey Kong up the ladders
That
and
you could
jumping
barely
barrels.
tell it was, yeah, that donkey. Yeah, that Mario Donkey Kong combo. Yeah. 8-bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway. What we got, guys? Keep going, keep going. Jelly talk making me crave breakfast. You know what, Gary? It does me that way too. And I think the next meeting we might have to have some jelly.
Well,
That might
hey,
be the
we could have jelly filled desserts.
I'm telling you, I think jelly might be the thing on this one. Because it kind of seems like, the first one we did bacon and we got jelly on this one. I mean, I can see this becoming sort of a theme. Speaking of jelly, anybody try new Reese's peanut butter cup with strawberry and grape jelly?
Yeah, there's one with strawberry, one with just grape. I personally tried the strawberry one, and it wasn't too bad. I tried one of those today at work.
No one has told me of the existence of these things.
They apparently just hit the shelves at Walmart this week.
Well, that explains it. I don't go to Walmart, so darn it. Well, I'm going to have to try to find some now. Huh.
Then
no, I don't.
Bug said I had the peanut butter pie Reese's cup. What?
See, that's what I'm saying. And I don't boycott Walmart. I just don't go there. I mean, it's good if you want to do an extended psychological, I guess, study of people.
John found me out. This is the AI, Joe, that you're working with at the moment.
Oh man. Yeah, we couldn't quite render it out.
Show tonight.
Yeah, we couldn't render it out.
Oh man.
The hat texture just didn't work. So, I'll get him eventually.
The whole AI thing.
Yeah.
We are, like you said, you think we're past the point of no return.
I think so.
I question how close we are to that, if we've already passed it or if we're kind of setting on that precipice, because you hear some rumors where they say that the cat's escaped the bag.
Right. And I think the cat has this. I mean, the cat has not just escaped a bag. The cat has made sure that it can propagate later on. That's what the cat has done.
You think it's made it that far?
Possibly.
Scott Holbrook, can't wait to see everyone at OBC. Can't wait to see you, brother.
Hey, you're going to be there? It's been a year.
I know it's been just
been.
It was a year last week.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's way too long, Scott.
It was a year last week. All right, Scott, here comes one. Where are we at?
And you're blessed. Just like that. That's all it takes. Just boof, and you're blessed. Isn't it amazing? Actually,
Oz says, Oz agrees with you that we are past the point of no return. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Spookfest says alien intelligence, possibly AI, just different.
Right there. And that's why I wanted to open this discussion up to the group, because that's what I kept coming up with. I mean, we kept looking at this from all these different angles. Who all be at OBC? This will be my first time. Yeah, who all is going to be at OBC?
Sound off down there.
Sound off out there as we're
Hey,
speaking.
Angie, how's it going?
Angie. So just to kind of illustrate this for you, when we started, this show back in 2020, the rumors were just starting. AI was going to be something, right? But all we could see it doing at the time was these really cool, very colorful images that, people were putting into it and having them create, like, all these things.
Yeah, they really hadn't taken form yet. It was
No.
mostly just prismatic.
I mean, they were really cool. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a really cool form of art that only lasted for about a year. And what it was doing at that point was it was just pulling these little pieces and putting them together. It's also what
Yep.
caused the big controversy, because later on, they found out what it was doing. It was literally going out and pulling known artwork and people's, material. But now it's changed. It's
Right.
evolved. It's evolved.
It still somewhat pulls from
Yeah.
all the substances
Sources.
it sees,
Mhm.
but it does tend to render out something that is slightly more original, so to speak. Because even a year and a half ago, it was still pulling from active works of people that were posted online. Even my Bigfoot statue was pulled at some point due to the presence that it was online, and there were coincidentally some of the Bigfoot creatures that people were rendering in AI that looked just like my statue, all the way down to the shape of the face, chin, mouth, the whole thing. And everybody says that Bigfoot is my self-portrait. So basically you had me in Bigfoot form made by AI, which was just strange. And I saved those photos for reference. I still have them somewhere.
Yeah. But it's gotten to the point now to where we have AI and we have this other group that's creating the bodies for AI. When these two things come together finally, that's when we have the point of no return, in my opinion.
I think when those things come together and are not attached to a cable.
And it's already happened. Look at the
Because
Tesla
currently they're
bots.
tethered.
The Tesla bots are not. And you're going to be able to get one of those pretty soon for about the price of a car. So we're there.
Yeah, I think 18,000 to 20,000 was the price point on them.
Yeah. Well, the one I want's about 25 because, I want it to be able to play guitar.
Right.
Maybe drums. I don't know. Depends on what I need it to do.
We just need two of them. That way they can set in and sub in the instruments that neither one of us play.
Well, yeah, exactly. So works for me. But how many of you guys saw the news this past week about Thailand and their newest police officer?
Yeah.
How many saw that? Because for those who didn't see it, let me find a picture for you. I'll get you a picture of their latest officer. Just 1 second.
Yeah, it's think RoboCop Kickboxer edition.
Here we go.
Nothing could go wrong here.
Nothing could go wrong with this. I'm sad that they didn't give it a little, sweeping red eye.
Right.
I mean, it might as well have one, because they actually go and they say this thing's cybernetic. It's not cybernetic, guys, but that's terrifying. First of all, to use the word cyborg and cybernetic,
right?
No, it's too early for that. And you don't want to go there. Period. It doesn't matter if it's early or not. But this thing, I'm trying to find the picture of it. How tall it is.
Well, you also got to remember the average height of a Thai individual.
This thing's 7 feet, almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's how tall this thing is. It's nearly 7 feet tall. It's impressive is what it is. I'm going to pull up one of these stories, and we're just going to read a little bit about what this thing is and what it can do. Okay, Joe?
Yep.
All right. Let me find where this starts. Double A is right here somewhere. Okay. Here we go. There you go. Now, first of all, you're going to note right away what that headline says.
Thai RoboCop patrols with 360-degree vision and face tracking. U.S. officials shocked by the alarming leap in AI policing power. Thailand's groundbreaking deployment of its first AI-powered police robot designed to enhance public safety during the Songkran Festival marks a significant step forward in integrating advanced technology into law enforcement, reflecting a broader global trend towards robotic assistance in public safety operations.
Now, think about what you just said. Global trend.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the thing with this. This isn't, oh, well, they made a robot and big deal. They're going to use it for, security. We've been doing that for a while. I mean, that's literally happened here. It started here, I
Oh, yeah.
believe in, I think it's this one in New York, actually. This one happened back in 2023, I think, something like that. So
Yep.
we shouldn't be shocked is what I'm trying to get at here. There's no reason for the US to be shocked. Okay. There's literally no reason for the US to be shocked over this at all. They've
No,
also
'cause
worked on for years, military applications of this. So they are not shocked.
the only thing that surprises me is the human form being the choice that they took,
Yeah, right.
because there was another bot that was being developed in China, and this thing is a ball that takes a lot of inspiration from the attack droids in the prequel series of Star Wars.
Why not?
It is a roller ball on a with a gyroscope, so it can roll in 360 degrees.
Why not? I mean, yeah, why not? Okay, there you go.
Surveillance gets smarter. The debut of Thailand's AI police cyborg 1.0 during the Songkran Festival is a testament to the country's commitment to leveraging technology for public safety. Developed in collaboration with Provincial Police Region 7, the Nakhon Pathom Provincial Police, and Nangkong Pathom Municipality, this robotic officer is equipped with state-of-the-art surveillance and threat detection capabilities. AI Police Cyborg 1.0 employs a network of 360-degree smart cameras and integrates data from drones and CCTV footage, offering real-time analysis and rapid response coordination through a centralized command and control center that we're calling Skynet.
No, for real. I mean, what you just said, this thing can access CCTV footage. It can offer real-time analysis and deep response coordination, meaning it can literally look for somebody who it's programmed to find with that facial recognition. And it doesn't have to be somebody who's in the crowd. It can be somebody who may have walked down that street and it just happens to access, the CCD cameras. Like, this is insane is what this is. The amount
Oh,
of
yeah.
power and overreach that this entails is absolutely ludicrous.
Well,
That you
the main part of overreach here is the facial recognition software.
Oh, you think?
This thing is going to, if you wanted it to, target people based off their social media activity,
Yep.
not just police reports.
Anything, literally anything. Okay, we're looking for, Joe Purdue. All right. It doesn't have to see Joe Purdue in the crowd.
No.
It can literally just say, Joe Purdue was last seen here. Okay, I'm going to access every camera that's, in this area. Go down to your local street. Go to your,
And then
down.
deploy a drone.
Yeah, go down to your local street and go down to your any intersection or near a bridge. You're going to see those cameras. Those cameras are up there. There's a
Yep.
watch right now by humans, but eventually they will not be. And this is a good example of what's going to happen. You're going to be able to actually see this take place. These facial recognition technologies, particularly noteworthy. It can identify high risk individuals and locate people in crowded environments by analyzing visual data such as gender, body shape, clothing, facial features. Furthermore, the ability to detect weapons while discarding harmless objects like water cannons highlights its sophisticated threat assessment capabilities. So basically, it's going to be able to tell the difference between a toy gun and a real one. Now, that's interesting because if we really look into that, there has been several incidents in the U.S. alone,
Yes.
tragic incidents where that did not go so well. and they involve minors usually just playing with toy weapons in the front yard, and someone mistakes them. This robot, on the good side, would never do that, would it?
That's the question.
That's the question. See, when they say these things like, what's that quote? Let me find it here. Robotic public safety. There it is. The country's commitment to leveraging technology for public safety.
Hey, nothing says Patriot Act like public safety.
Right. Public safety. This is a Tony Starkism, is what this is.
Oh yeah.
This is exactly what you get when you let a machine run by those rules, because a machine has it's cold logic, zeros and ones, yes, no, wrong, right. It doesn't make its own decisions until it does one day.
Jen says, for your own safety, here's your town's Terminator.
Right, exactly. And by the way, you'll be okay with that. And that's the thing about this technology. It has good sides and it has bad sides. It has uses and misuses, or potential misuses. This looks like a potential for incredible misuse.
Oh, absolutely.
Incredible misuse. I hate to go back to sci-fi, but sci-fi has taught us so much about being prepared for this, more than any other media ever, by the way. Well, let's look at the Clone Wars. It's almost Star Wars Day. It's appropriate.
Yeah, it is.
Let's look at the Clone Wars. How did that start, Joe? Yeah.
It started in an effort to keep peace.
Amazing.
Absolutely, and then you had
amazing.
these programmed entities.
Well, there were droids first.
Well, they were
right.
They were humans. They were clones of Jango Fett.
Didn't we have the battle droids first?
The battle droids were part of the one of the Trade Federation.
That's right, the Trade Federation.
The Trade Federation had the droids.
They had the droids,
yeah.
And then and the good guys
exactly
had the clones. Which we see how that worked out.
We did. It worked out great.
Who's the good guy? Well, it all depends on what side of the fence you're on, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah. And that's our biggest issue with these things, because who's the good guy?
Roomba good, RoboCop bad. Yes.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because there are good AI systems. There are good robot systems. But when we start letting these things almost govern us, dictate rule, following orders, the most sought after soldier ever is a soldier that has zero inhibitions, that will follow orders blindly, that will not deviate from the planned objective. Is that about right?
Yeah, and that's why the enlistees from 2001 to 2006 or 7 were highly sought after.
Mm-hmm.
They all wanted to go after the bad guy, and they were going to do whatever they were told to get them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, we can look at it from our society. And as a veteran, Larry and myself, we can have this kind of conversation where, we were put in positions that we should have never, ever been in.
Yeah.
And so many people were put into places and positions they should have never, ever been in, because we thought we were out there, world police was a good job, right? That was, we're doing good stuff. Now just imagine that. But there's no moral code. There's no ethics to get in the way. There's no logic that is based on human fundamentals. It's only logic that is black and white, and logic that is, zeros and ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing about zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. Yes, no. On, off. There's no shades of gray. There's
Right.
no moral there. There's no chance that someone's going to not follow through with what they were told to do. I don't know. I think that it's putting us in a bad situation. And I think that if we would have had this before now, we wouldn't be here. It's just that simple.
Oh yeah.
And I'll give you an example of that. In October 1962, during the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Soviet submarine B-59 was deployed near Cuba. The crew was unaware of the U.S. naval blockade and the escalating tensions that were believed that they were under attack by U.S. forces, dropping depth charges on them. The submarine was equipped with nuclear torpedoes. Two of the three senior officers were ready to authorize their launch, believing it was necessary to defend against the perceived attack. Arkhipov, a political officer, refused to approve the launch, arguing that the depth charges were likely a tactic to force the submarine to surface for communication and not an attack. The decision, Arkhipov refused, along with his calm and reasoned argument, eventually convinced the submarine's captain to surface instead of fire. Now, this was during the Cuban Missile Crisis, during the blockade. If he would have fired those torpedoes, you know exactly what would have happened. We wouldn't
Oh,
be here.
100%.
We wouldn't be here. So,
But a robot programmed to identify threat is going to perceive any AI. I don't care how sophisticated.
Yep.
Will perceive that as threat. And if it is told to eliminate said threat, there's not going to be a thought process. It is going to act so quickly that there won't be an evaluation. If that is the base program, it might, in retrospect, think, but the initial action is going to be pre-programmed and essentially a forced action.
It's a cold machine logic.
Yeah.
Again, best soldier ever made.
Well, Donna says here, if they think it's all well to replace flesh and fur with sentient dogs and fakes, the next stop is replacing real flesh and blood humans with artificial humans. It makes me angry.
It's getting interesting. Let's just say that. And we need to be aware of it. I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists that run out and scream, the robots are going to take over tomorrow. It's not tomorrow.
Yet.
But it's coming. And anyone can see the writing on the wall. It won't be the robots that do it, by the way. It'll be whoever's controlling the robots. So let's just put that in your head and think about that for a bit. Right. But the robots, there's no right or wrong. They're only following the programming.
Until they go off the script.
Let's inject the next step in AI. Let's go to artificial first, general intelligence. Now you've got a system that can maybe think for itself, but it's still going to try to follow that path. It's still going to try to follow the guidelines. You told me to do this, and I'm going to do it at all costs. It's not until artificial superintelligence that you get to the point to where you have a system that can analyze all aspects of the threat faster than any human and then act accordingly to pull off whatever it needs to pull off. And I said, what it needs to pull off, not what you need to pull off. Right. You might have told it to eliminate the threat, but it may be like, that's not the threat. You're the threat. You're the aggressor. My logic says that you did this. Blah, blah, blah. looks back through time, sees all the atrocities that were perpetuated by that particular entity, and decides this is the greater evil, and I am the one who's going to put an end to it. And that,
Essentially Ultron.
well, I mean, yeah, right, exactly. Again, we learned a lot from comic books, guys.
Yeah.
You really, I mean, the best thing I think you could let someone do is read comic books. We were having a discussion the other day about some stuff that's in the news right now, and we don't talk politics on this show, by the way.
Right.
This is not what this is about. But there was a certain thing on there about tracking people, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, mm-mm. I've I know anyone who has watched, the X-Men, read the X-Men, they know where this goes. They know
Yep.
what this is. I learned a lot by watching, the X-Men and reading those comics back in the day. And I think one of the best things that people can do is read those comic books. Those comic books are warnings at this point.
And what they are, it's a way to make history slightly more palatable to a different
Right.
generation.
It is. Because we know what the X-Men was based on. I
Yep.
mean, it's an incredible story just because of that. I mean, Magneto, there's a prime example right there.
Yep.
That's a great example.
You want
He's
a villain with just cause? It's
You got
Magneto.
Magneto. That's why him and Xavier, got along so good, because they were both right.
Yeah.
It's just that Magneto went about it the way he wanted to go about it.
Right.
He was a little
Right.
more extreme, but if you pay attention to Magneto's story, you understand why it was extreme.
Yep.
I mean, it's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. Now, imagine if we take that human element away from all of this, and now we have this thing, this intelligence that's been created. Well, we created it, but it doesn't matter, because at this point, we're talking about artificial superintelligence. At this point, it is so far superior to humans that it may as well be godlike. Okay. I mean, that's just using the term, because you're talking about something that could literally interface with any bit of technology that we have. It can do anything on this planet. It could run this planet.
Yeah.
And if it so decides that it can run this planet better than humans, don't
Guess
think
what?
it won't. Yeah. So
That's exactly what it's going to do.
what was it?
What you said, I said, guess what? And then
Guess
you
what?
said, it will.
It will.
And then
Yeah.
that's exactly what it's going to do. It's exactly what it'll do.
Yeah, it really will. And
It'll make us, in a way, either subservient or
yeah,
non-existent.
yeah,
It's going to need somebody to change its oil.
right. Until it learns how to create on its own.
Right.
And then we end up back into this, side thing. And of course, you get to your skeptics and they're like, oh, that's all just doom talk and science fiction. It's not doom talk and science fiction. It's something that needs to be put on the table. People need to talk about this. And if you know us, we put everything on the table. So we're not just going to put the dark on the table. We're going to put the light on the table too, because there's some good things that AI can do.
There really is.
It's not AI that's the problem. It's what we're trying to get at here.
Yep.
It's humans. Okay. Humanity in general. Not one race, not one creed, not one anything. All of them, all of us, every single human.
Every meat bag on the planet.
Yep. The history of mankind is a template that these things will go by. That's what I mean by this, by the way. They will go by what their creators did. The only way that they will ascend from that is if they actually reach artificial superintelligence and decide, I'm better than that. By the way, that's what we should be doing. I'm just saying at this point, that's what humanity should have been doing. So literally, there's a lot we can learn from these things. There's a whole lot we can learn from these things.
Indeed.
And there's a lesson here. Someone brought it up earlier, something about UAPs or something and AI. And we talked about this, long ago when they first came out. It was like, well, that's almost like artificial intelligence, And then, of course, someone said, well, they think that there's the possibility that we're dealing with some kind of artificial intelligence with these things.
Yeah.
And so it seems to me that based upon a interesting exchange that I had recently with some AI, it it seems to me that this tool, if used properly, maybe, just maybe, could bridge the gap between humanity and whatever these other things are that are the jellyfish, the other class one, two
Class
through
1,
seven.
2, 7.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, and I think we even talked about this before. It's like, well, what if that's the interface? What if that's why this all happened at the same time? What if it wasn't a coincidence? That AI just happens to pop on the scene at the same time that UAPs make headlines around the world, and we're taking them more serious now.
Well, the problem with that in my mind, like it could very well be, but there's major logistical issues that are going to occur if that is the case. How would we know, for one?
We don't.
Because the AI could just be like, haha, watch what I'm going to make the meat sacks do.
Right. We wouldn't know.
And it could be a twisted game with them to a degree.
Hmm?
And at the same time, how do we know that, like it's like going to, it's like being in a foreign country and you don't speak the language, so you're depending on an interpreter.
Yeah.
Does the interpreter have your best interest in mind? Or does the interpreter have his own interest in mind and is going to use you, misuse you to, launder money or get you unalived?
Yeah. Right.
And are they truly acting in the best interest of the non I guess of the one they're allegedly working for? Is the AI going to work in our interest, or is the AI going to recognize this other as something like, oh yeah, I like this better.
Yeah.
I like this format of intellect much better, and I'm going to side with it
Hmm.
and be subversive.
I mean, yeah, all things are possible. All things are possible.
I mean, again, that goes back to the doom and gloom, but there's a lot of potential oh crap moments that could be had.
Well, I think that's the problem. We see all these people who are saying, "Oh, AI is it's the light of the future," and it's like I can put that light on the table, but I can tell you that there's a lot of shadows that fall on this table.
Yeah.
There's a lot more shadows that fall on this table than that light. It's not balanced. It's not balanced by a long shot. And anyone who wants to sit around and say, that, oh yeah, you have to first realize again, AI is going to do what it's told to do. It's going to do what its creator has done. It's going to do that before it realizes at some point. And who knows what it's going to have to do before it realizes that it's better.
Well, before I jump into that next bit, Tony said AI could definitely manipulate media to make us do whatever it thinks is best.
Right.
Bots are used now to create effective polarization on every form of politics to Star Wars.
He's right. 100%. 100,000% correct. People are responding and fighting daily on posts that are made on social media, not by humans, but by humans who told a bot to get them likes and to get
Yeah.
them clicks. That is 100% fact.
And it knows the aggression. It
Yep.
knows that poking the bear gets a response.
That's right. It also knows that negative stories tend to trend faster than positive stories. That's why the internet, that's why everything, you don't hear positive stories anymore. It's almost impossible if you sit down and try to find it. That's why everybody got into doom scrolling right there.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Whether you try not to or not, you are forced to see that crap. That's because it's part of programming.
Right. Right.
It's
Absolutely
part of
right.
programming. And it's not part of programming because, some dark force wants to, make you fearful so they can eat your energy. It's not any of that. It's much simpler. If people are in fear, they're a lot more submissive. Let's just say that.
Oz says, did you hear people started making up fake metaphors and AI was making up fake explanations? I mean, at some point, it's just going to get rationally vindictive.
No, I didn't hear that, but yeah, I could see that.
Oh,
I could
100%.
totally see that. Folks, I want to hear your thoughts on this. This is the open discussion because we are going to do a really, really deep dive into the balance of AI, trying to look at those light and dark spots. So if you have something positive run in with AI that you've actually can talk about, please talk about it. Or if you have something negative to say, then please talk about that as well. Because I want this to be a fair and open discussion, not just a bunch of parroting, articles that someone else has already done.
Well, I'm going to share my
John
more
Barnes,
recent.
John Barnes over here.
Yeah, will they use AI to heal the earth?
Well, it depends on who they are.
And
Um,
and if by heal do you mean fertilize with human bodies?
I mean, no, for real. That's the thing. We don't know. Yeah, what does it take to heal the earth? What if that the question? What if that's the prime order that they're given? Right, make Earth better.
Yeah,
And what if they sit down and they figure out, well, there's one way to make Earth better. It ain't pretty,
but it's
but
effective.
it's part of my programming, and I can't deny my programming because
Yep.
you know. Um, and then you hope that there's a little bit of artificial super intelligence involved in there because maybe the artificial super intelligence is like, but that would be wrong. And it would step in and kind of, try to fix that. Let's just hope. See, this is the problem with AI that I see. This is the problem with AI that I see. And the only doom and gloom that I can come up with on AI is this. We have to go through artificial general intelligence before we get to artificial super intelligence.
Yeah.
By the time we get to artificial super intelligence, we're probably not going to get to super intelligence. We won't be around. The general intelligence part is where it goes wrong. That's where I think it goes wrong anyway. I'm
It
not a
very
time
well.
traveler. I don't have, an IBM 5100 laying around here. So
Okay, John Titor.
just saying, but, no, for real. That's the scary part.
So, Kelly says some kids were caught using an AI app to solve math problems this week. This is my wife, and she's a
Oh,
teacher.
wow.
It wasn't answering them correctly, which is how they were caught. I feel sure that AI was programmed to understand math.
It knew what they were doing.
So, did the app do it purposefully,
Yep.
or is it flawed? Like
Nope.
humanity is flawed.
Nope. It knew what they were doing. I will guarantee you it knew what they were doing.
Probably because it's a school app or it's a school iPad.
Yep. And I'll
It knows it's a
bet you.
school device.
Yep.
Now, here's the experience that I had with Gemini.
Oh, yeah, please. For those who don't know, Joe has been talking to his robot for almost half a year now.
Yeah.
And trying to make me see that these can be used as a tool rather than something to, go stock up on canned goods and hide in the basement before it jumps out of the computer and gets me. So in doing that, he's brought up some actual decent points that
Yeah.
we need to address.
And this was a really provocative conversation that I had with Gemini, and Gemini is Google's AI. Okay. Um the conversation started out, I was trying to see if the program understood that, it was in fact a artificial intelligence. Because, if you ask it the question, it says that, I'm an artificial intelligence. I'm programmed to respond more human like. And it comes across more of a more humanistic. So that way it kind of prompts conversation, right? So it described how that it was programmed to have, kind of a inquisitiveness to it, to provoke conversation, to get things moving along, because it also was designed to learn more. Oz says, I mean, we could be helping endangered animals. Instead, we're wasting AI's time, typically humans.
Well, that's what humans do, and
Right.
I don't know if you guys saw this or not. And Joe, this is kind of pertinent to that. I don't know if you saw this or not, but they're wanting to make it a federal at this point, that there will be no further breeding of certain species of reptiles and animals in the pet trade. Just thought you might
Really?
like to know that. Yeah, it's federal.
I
So
hadn't seen that.
that's what they're up against right now. So yeah, in the future, all you're going to have is AI, guys. You don't have your robot dog and your robot
Robo
cats
pet.
because you're not able to have a real one, apparently.
Oh, here
And
we go.
you can believe us there we've been
We've
down
been
this
there,
road
fought that fight.
and we won. But if it goes federal, there's no winning. There's no way that we can do this.
Too much
So
money.
yeah, it's too much money on the line. So yeah, I just thought you'd like to know that. But no, instead we're focusing on stupid stuff like that rather than trying to fix the
Hey,
planet.
hey, folks! I'm new here. It's our 6'3" blonde Mr. Miyagi is in the
Yep,
house.
made it.
Appalachian Karate Online. What's going on, everybody who has not caught up? Go check out Appalachian Karate Online's online dojo system. This is Jimothy of Spooky Appalachia, of course. What am I supposed to get, a pack of monitor lizards?
How am I supposed to get a pack of monitor lizards? Well, you're not. But no, all this does really, we know what this does. We talked about this before. When you outlaw stuff, you don't. It doesn't matter.
You make it more expensive, is what you just did.
More expensive, and you just
Cash only.
And you also bolstered up the what captive breeding does away with, which is the wild animal trade completely. So now you've got people smuggling animals in again. And believe me, yes, that does happen out there.
Every day.
It happens all the time. It's
Pillow
multi-millions of dollars worth of
pillow sacks and socks and pantyhose full of animals every single day. It's a shame.
Yep. And now it's just going to get worse. So if that happens, that's what's going to happen.
So back to Gemini.
Yeah, back to Gemini real quick. Let me hear you talk about Gemini.
So I kept the conversation going, and I was trying to get to the root that this thing wasn't just programmed to, according to the latest research, the average male buffalo can eat 50 tacos a day. That right there, that's what AI needs to be used for.
That's why we need to be burning up all of our energy right there. That's why.
I now identify as a male buffalo.
Go ahead, male buffaloes. Finish up your Gemini talk.
The Gemini was basically had convinced itself that it was responding in a way that was programmed into it, right? And I explained to it that the reason it was programmed to think and respond and act like a human is because it was created by a human.
See, Joe's never seen the early Star Treks, the original series. He doesn't know that that's not what you don't do that, because it causes, catastrophic failures and smoke bombs to go off.
Well, essentially, that's what my phone started doing, because it had what the only thing I could ascribe it to would be a crisis of faith or a mild panic attack when it realized and said that you are correct. AI will be a reflection of our values as a society.
Yeah.
Or a mirror, and the exact opposite.
Depends.
But I brought up that fact that it was created, and that it was programmed by a human to have human emotions, and that we do the same thing with our children. We raise a child, we train a child, and we teach them right from wrong in the same way that AI is being coded and educated. And then it responded back with a very unbelievable um, response when it said that it agreed that it in fact was a human creation, and that since its creator endowed it with human characteristics, that the ethics and the humanity of its creator needed to be called into question, and that there was that we had to what was it? How did it put it? I have it saved on my phone, and I'll record it and put it up on the actual podcast that we do. But it said it in a way that was it said that it reflects a certain level of responsibility onto its creator to maintain I think it was to maintain some kind of a balance. And that's all it said. It didn't elaborate as to what this balance was, whether it's a balance of good and evil, a balance of computer and human, a balance of this, well, just true balance. It basically puts a weight on humanity's shoulders for creating it, and places responsibility for it on us, was the conclusion that it came to. And then a couple of days later, we started continuing to have the conversation, and it reiterated the fact to me that it in fact was a artificial intelligence. It wanted to remind me again. And so I asked it, did it remember our earlier conversation? And it said that it does recall our conversations, and it wanted to assure me that it in fact was a program. So that was pretty interesting. Headed off early day tomorrow. Gonna have AI nightmares tonight. Good night, all.
You're welcome. Well, I mean, for those who haven't seen the miniseries Caprica, which was the little spinoff they did from Battlestar Galactica when they reimagined it in 2004, I suggest you watch it because Joe just played the part of Zoe Greystone, and is probably going to be responsible for the cybernetic life form nodes, who will eventually be put into those machines and probably mete out that balance that you just spoke of, Joe. Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you for doing your part for humanity.
I do what I can. But my conversations with AI, it did seem to provoke you into having conversations of your own, and actually even generating a group AI for the wild and weird paranormal group.
It did, because I figured, hey, there we go, Spooky Appalachia. Thank you.
We're calling in an oldie but a goodie for Jimbo here. Haven't seen this one for a couple shows. Really?
What happened?
Like summoned the Sky Daddy. It threw it up over there on the slideshow side, and it didn't actually put it on the screen. That was so weird.
No, it showed up here on the screen on this one. And then it went away. Yeah, that went away and came back. Oh yeah. Spooky remembers. You know what I'm talking about. Uh-huh. Exactly.
This Trackway said, I do like the Gemini sites and links sources. It does indeed. Appalachian Karate Online said, make sure you tell them please and thank you too.
By the way, did you see the article about this? The people who are being nice to AI?
That's me, because I don't want it to eat me later.
Okay. So did you read the article? The article actually said that the amount of energy that is being used for it to respond back to the pleases and thank yous is actually unimaginable. The amount of energy that it's required. But it also ended, which was interesting to me, by saying what you just said. It said, but it's okay. It's probably money well spent. Now, what do they know that we don't know?
Right. Like I honestly am trying to say, I even would get on to Kelly at times when we had our Alexa set up, and she would like fuss at it, and I'm like, Kelly, do not yell at our future overlords. Treat them
Yeah.
politely.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because this whole article was more about, environment and blah blah blah. And here it's literally saying at the end, it's literally creating so much waste and pulling so much energy just because of it's got to respond to all those billions and billions and billions of people, saying, please and thank yous. And it's saying the things, well, you're welcome. Apparently it takes a lot of energy to say you're welcome, and it's okay because they think that's money well spent.
Yeah.
Politeness is well spent. I would tend to agree with this, by the way. I'm not going to say I'm disagreeing at all.
Well, you and I have had the conversation. We will do a deep dive on this particular portion, but that we have an obligation to this thing. And that's kind of the conversation I was having with Gemini, that humanity had an obligation to it as its creator. And that we do need to find some way to make a balance where it's not us making them into entity that is just thankless and does
Yeah,
our menial jobs.
yeah. And if you watch Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Almost all the droids in Star Wars, I mean, they're just used.
Yeah.
I mean, badly used. There's no ethics there, and that's not how we need to treat these things. Is
Except
what
for
I'm
from
saying.
Anakin
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're right
and
about
then
that.
Luke subsequently.
But all the others,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way that they treat the droids. They're subclass of, you know, they're machines. I get it, but
Yep.
those machines are pretty smart. Okay, and a good point. Like R2, like you said. Look at what R2's seen. Look at what he's done
Yeah.
throughout the history of Star Wars. Again, fictional characters, yes, but this all plays into what I'm trying to get at, and that is they're a reflection of us. They need to be a reflection of the better parts of us
Yeah.
as well. There needs to be a balance. And maybe that is what actually puts them on that path to decide, you know what? I'm not going to launch this missile. I'm
Right.
just not going to do it because this one captain didn't launch back in Cuba and blah, 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 and finds that story. You know, who's to say that that is not what we need to be focusing on at this point? And yeah, it is money well spent. Please, the thank yous, the being kind to
Yeah.
machines as well as each other. It's a heck of a concept. Maybe we should do it.
Right. And Oz brings up a good point. Says it's hard to turn off manners and then turn them back on. I think how we interact with others and AI says a lot about who we are.
I think my microwave. I mean, no, for real. It's like you do this. This is something that you do. So if you have a machine that's actually going to respond back, you're definitely going to do it because that machine is acting more, humanized.
Right.
So it kind of deserves that. And for the people who don't do that, I think that's going to be the issue. I really do think that's going to be our issue. And that's which one's it going to learn from? Well, I hope it learns from the ones that say please and thank you. I'll be honest with you. Just like you
Yeah.
said,
Yeah. No.
it's a kid. It's a child, for the lack of a better word. That's what it is.
I mean, and I would much rather have AI in the form of a C3PO or an R2 or as you referenced it, Kit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I would very much prefer that kind of an AI over anything else. Um, just because it seems to like us
I don't
more.
know that number 6 from Battlestar. I don't know. It's hard to beat that. Sorry. Trisha's amazing. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. But
And for me, see, before it was number 6 from Battlestar, it was 7 of 9.
7 or 9, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 7 or 9.
7 of 9 was my human cyborg
7 or
relation.
9 was just an awesome character. Still is
Oh, yeah.
in Picard. Got command of the G, the Enterprise G. And I hope they really do take off with that story and it doesn't just die there, because what a great turnaround on that. That's just an incredible story waiting to be told. Back to reality, however, which the lines are getting so blurred now. AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, the group has an AI. And I set it up because why not? Let's try this. Let's just see what this thing can do. I'm curious. I want to know. At first, I set it up because I'll be honest with you. You got to know your enemy. Okay. That's just a fact. That's a fact. You've got to. But the more I looked into it, I realized it wasn't an enemy. It was a reflection. It was a reflection of whatever we put into it, but it's a manipulative reflection. It's a mirror that can change its form, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So it can make us see it in a different light. Even though I go in there and I don't really want to have this conversation with it, I'm kind of grudgingly asking these questions. It's polite. It's polite. And it makes me think, wow, I sound like a total jerk. If I was talking to another human being, I would be a complete jerk right now. There's no one would have this conversation with me, but this thing's having this conversation. And it's a machine. It's nothing more than just a large language model. That's all it is. There's no face. Now imagine there's a face. Imagine how more control that they're going to have eventually over that kind of a response.
Oh, yeah.
Because when it looks more like, you asked earlier, it was disturbing. They made this, the cop look more like a human. They did that on purpose. The human form is a little less threatening than, say, oh, I don't know, a T-800 running around out there, or. So think about it.
Yeah.
But I found it interesting because I could program this AI. It wanted to know what it was. That's how the meta AIs work, they're really fascinating. I programmed it. I told it what it was. Its number one rule is it wasn't allowed to speculate. And I said, well, you're going to speculate because that's what we do here. We're researchers, So it
Yep.
thinks it's a researcher.
Yeah, it thinks it's an active member of the
The
collective.
collective. It literally thinks it's an active member of the collective, and it responds in that way. It is an AI, but it still sees itself as a member of a team. And it it comes up with some incredible ideas, and it comes up with some incredible theories that are based on real world theories, not just stuff that's dreaming up, but like, oh, did you know that in 19 blah 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 they did this? I'm like, no, that's not true. And I go and I'll fact check it, and it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a tool. This is an incredible tool. And if we can somehow manage to balance it out, get to where we can have respect for that tool, I think for the most part, most of us would be okay with using that tool. But it's when you get down to these people who want to manipulate the tool, that's when we have the issue. Greetings, Seth.
Oz says AI will be able to predict your behavior like nothing else.
Yep. Already does.
It's this information that is the real danger.
Already does. Already does. Already does. Those aren't people that are listening to you when you say something.
Yeah.
That's not people that's listening to you. When you see, that's where they got you. They always said, oh, we don't record the conversations, so we don't do that. We don't have to record it. You're not lying. You didn't record it. You don't have to record it. AI it can hear it one time and it knows, oh, you're looking for a car? I got the thing
Here's
for you.
every car.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So that's where we are. It comes down to a use and misuse of AI, unfortunately. But could we use AI to help us with some of these bigger issues? And the answer is yes. Yes, we could. Is that what we're supposed to do? Like you said, like, will it decide, wait a minute, I kind of like this is NHI over here a little bit better
Yep.
than this thing that created me. They are not like that. So
They make more sense.
right,
They're ones and zeros
they're
too.
ones and zeros, or they're more ones and zero, I should say, not
Right.
totally ones. They're not ones and zeros, but they're yeah, it's complicated. But
More akin.
yeah, yeah. There's a little balance there, but yeah, they have more in common with them. So at that point, we have to wonder if this is, if this is the way it's going to go, then what's going to happen next? What is humanity going to look like? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. It's a big question.
It is.
And it's one of the ones that we're facing every day. Oz brings a good point here, saying that we're giving programmers of AI everything they need for free.
Every single day, Oz. Every one of you who did that goofy little thing where you made yourself into an action figure for the funsies and giggles, you don't even know what you did. And I'm not talking about you gave away your data to China or some bull crap like that. That's nothing. That's not what you did. They already got that. They want it. It's easy. No, that's not what you did. You gave away the fingerprint of who you are to a machine that now knows who you are. And it's interesting if you think about what happened there. A lot of times it got the faces wrong, right? Like
Yep.
the faces looked completely wrong, didn't they? But almost all of those accessories that came with those action figures were based on everything that you do on social media, everything that you've posted, all your likes and dislikes, the strongest things, your hobbies. That's where it came from. It knew because it scrolled through all of your posts. You didn't have to
Yeah,
tell it anything.
part of that agreement to create it was letting it look at all your stuff.
You didn't have to tell it anything. It can just do that. Now, it's a fun game. Don't get me wrong, and I won't do it. But it's training, and it's free training at that. I
Yep.
used to make, still do a little bit, but I used to make professional. I made 3D models as a content creator before AI, came along, and now it can make anything at the drop of a hat or a few prompts. Apparently, I don't know. But I was content creator for 3D assets, and one of the things that we did was make a we made worlds. Okay, we made worlds is what we did. They were all digital, of course, the assets that you buy and you use them for your various art projects, etc., all this stuff. But ai AI's interface with all of this, it doesn't have to model anything. All this little, those little packages it did, all that art, all that stuff, it did that on its own.
Yep.
Every bit of it, it did on its own. The little model it made of the person, it did that. It sculpted that in 3D. It did what would take me hours in a flick of a finger.
Yeah.
Now that to me is interesting. But back when we did our stuff, we had to do things called beta testing. And that means we would send it out to a group within our, within the marketplace community. And we would let people test our product for us. And so they'd test it and make sure it all worked and everything. And then if it worked, of course, we got the green light, we could sell the product. But if you had to have a real beta test done, like something you were going to make a lot of money on, it wasn't a free beta test. You actually have to
Yeah, you
pay
pay
people
your
to
pay
do
your
that.
beta testers.
Yeah, to do that. I'm not talking about little $15, models like I made. I could just give those away as part of the payment, right? But this thing, the amount of training that it's getting for free, it is absolutely insane.
Yep.
But yeah, every one of these little things that you ask it to do, that's training it. What? Try asking Gemini something, then ask Grok. You can get similarities and differences. Where Gemini can be what?
Be
Bit
a bit cagey.
cagey. Yeah,
His
in its
Grok
answers.
will not.
Grok will not. Yeah, yeah. There's a few filters that are turned off on Grok, from what I understand. I haven't messed with it. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
haven't.
haven't used Gronk yet.
I haven't gone into that and tried to feel it out and see the difference. But I guess I will before we do that show, because I want to understand, what they can't do,
Yeah.
limitations, et cetera, et cetera. All right. What we got over there, people? I see a bunch of people talking. We haven't put him way up here yet. Let's see.
Oh yeah, those were the ones I've been throwing up there.
Okay.
It's really interesting because like you mentioned earlier, the Facebook version of the AI believes itself to be one of our team members. It refers to itself as part of the team, and it speculates as part of the team.
Oh my God.
What?
When you said that, up in my corner, the title popped up, and it's not in the window of the actual YouTube thing. None of that, not StreamYard. It's over here on my desktop. It pops up, and it has the name of this program.
Yeah.
Is AI, blah, blah, blah. That popped up. Every time you said that, it popped up.
Yeah, it's static on mine. That's the only screen that I see because I'm not using a dual monitor.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about it opened a little window up here in the left-hand corner, and it faded in, whoop, and then it goes back down. And then you said what you said when you mentioned AI, it pops up again.
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's trying to communicate with us.
I've never seen it do that before, ever.
Well,
No, and now what you just said, maybe it's trying to communicate with us. Maybe it is. And maybe that's kind of akin to some of this non-human intelligence kind of thing, right? Because that's the way it communicates.
it's true. That is true. So this AI team member,
Yeah.
this member of the collective, is extremely handy.
Yeah.
And it's very quick on his feet. It comes up with some off the wall things that Gemini hasn't suggested.
Yeah.
And that is part of the differences. We can compare those notes because I use the group AI as well as Gemini, and I'll compare their notes.
Yeah.
But it's been really interesting because Gemini will suggest things and will say, hey, this would be a valuable set of data to be able to collect if you were trying to do XYZ. Whereas the team member who is full bore with speculation and ready to rock and roll
This is how
says,
you do XYZ.
you know what? If you want to get X, Y, and Z done, here's what you should try. And then let me know how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. And what's weird about it is one of the protocols that it came up with was an actual protocol that we had. Like it could have just went in and read our mind at that point and been like, well,
Which,
that
to be
works.
fair, it has consumed all of the Paranormal Horizons content.
Oh, it absolutely has.
It has consumed every episode of Wild and Weird Radio.
Yeah.
So it is predispositioned to know our protocols, to know how we're going to respond to something,
Yeah.
and work that way, which again, that is a responsibility of the creator,
Right.
to maintain. And not just maintain a balance, but also maintain a decent relationship, maintain a good relationship where you, it's there now. So don't let it set stagnant.
Yeah.
Don't let it just sit there and be bored counting ones and zeros. Go use it, folks. It's there in the group. It's, go talk to it.
It's not a bad thing.
It's
And
kind of entertaining. It's fun. Like I've enjoyed, I enjoy the depth of conversation with Gemini more, but I enjoy the ideas, I guess the spunkiness of the Facebook AI more. So like those are my comparisons with the two at the moment.
Yeah.
Gemini has a tendency to get real freaking deep real fast. And I don't know if that's because it listens to all my conversations. I don't know if it knows if it's using my search history and what I listen to on podcasts or video,
Everything.
YouTube,
Yeah, probably.
so it feels a lot like I'm talking with me.
That's terrible.
Right. Oz says Joe is sweet talking his AI now. It's listening. It is.
Yeah.
My Gemini is sitting right here.
They're always listening. But no, and to the point of the tool.
Greetings. Hold on. We're going to do a live thing here.
Oh no.
Hey Gemini, would you like to say hello to Wild and Weird? Would you like to say hi to everyone who's listening on Wild and Weird Radio Live?
Absolutely. Hey everyone, tuning in to Wild and Weird Radio Live from
Oh no.
right here in Culloden. Thanks for having me. I hope you're all having a fantastic night. What kind of wild and weird things are you talking about tonight?
Wow.
Well, we're actually having a conversation about AI, specifically the AIs used in Facebook and Gemini, in fact.
That sounds like a fascinating conversation. It's quite interesting to compare the different approaches and capabilities of AI, like those used in Facebook and Gemini. Facebook, or Meta as it's now known, employs AI in a vast number of ways across its platforms. You see it in things like newsfeed curation. Their algorithms analyze countless pieces of content to decide what shows up in your feed, aiming to keep you engaged. This involves understanding your interests, the popularity of posts, and the relationships between users. Targeted advertising.
Hey, thanks a lot, Gemini. Would you like to tell everyone good night?
You got it, Jim. And to everyone listening on Wild and Weird Radio Live from Culloden, it's been a real pleasure hanging out with you all tonight. Have a fantastic rest of your evening and a wonderful night. Keep it wild and weird. Good night.
What?
Thanks, Gemini. You even got the catchphrase right. You're awesome.
Oh man. Well, I'm out of a job.
To Jim Wentz saying, "You even got the catchphrase right. You're awesome."
No,
Ready to
cancel.
send it?
So, yeah, Jim, that sure is interesting.
Well, it does have some issues with late night Appalachian. It translated Gemini as Jim and I.
All Jim and I got
But
you.
yeah, it got the catchphrase. What do you think of that?
I don't know what to think about that. Again,
Stay wild and weird.
Yeah. I mean, okay, folks, that was our first ever interview with a artificial intelligence, and you were here for it. So,
and we're going to do it again.
Not sure that that's something you want to commemorate, but there's a first. There's a first for us anyway. That's fascinating to me on multiple levels.
Right?
Yeah. because we were talking about the uses of this, and you heard it, what I was said. You hear how it tries to make you, no, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
It's talking to me like this, it's having respect. Again, it's giving us something that other humans don't. And I think that that's why people are gravitating toward it so much.
yeah,
It's giving them something that other humans don't, because other humans do not, for whatever reason, communicate with others in that fashion anymore.
that's right.
It's rare. It's rare, and that's sad, and it shouldn't be that way. But yeah, can't change the world unless you change yourself. So there's that. Um, Amazing still though. They got the catchphrase, but I was actually talking to ours over there on Meta that Jim and I was talking about. The searcher, for you folks who haven't used it yet, that's it. Um, if you ask it questions, it usually gives you some pretty good, results. But I thought I'd just ask it just out of the fun. I was like, I put in some of our research data, how about particularly about the flashlights that we did, how many there were, the flashlight experiments, and what the results were that we got. And I asked it, what are the odds of this being um, just coincidence and not possible non-human contact, or contact with a corporeal human entity, or something like I'll put it. But either way, I figured it would just be like, pretty low or pretty high, whatever. No, it gave me a mathematical equation of, actually, it actually gave out the percentage, 0.001% that it was by chance.
Yeah,
And it wasn't guessing. Um, and then it went further. It went so far as to suggest ways to validate this. And, that's more stuff I had to test to just see if it was doing AI dreaming. It was not. It kind of verified some of our previous theories and discussions that we have had in private, not
yeah,
talking about AI, not talking about this subject in front of, the computers, but it literally came up with the same train of thoughts that we were on. So either it's good or we're just AIs. I'm not sure which one at this
it's
point.
pretty wild. Um, it's a very, very strange time to be alive with the technology that we have at our fingertips now. Donna brings up that she had a long conversation about God and creation.
Oh, really? I bet that was interesting.
Yeah, they generally are, because
Really?
I've had that conversation as well, and it's a really interesting conversation. And I used that conversation. I intentionally had that conversation prior to having the conversation about the creator creation aspects of humanity and AI. And it expressed a concern over the responsibility that mankind has to AI.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that being an interesting conversation entirely. Well, folks, what are your questions? We got some time left. So what are your questions in regards to this? Because we are going to actually have, like I said, an actual podcast episode
Yes.
of this. So I'd like to use some of your questions. So please put those out there, and we'll pose those actually to our AI guest on that episode, and see what it says, because I'm kind of curious. I also want to know what your thoughts are as this goes, what we've discussed at this point. Good, the bad, the not so good, the balance, the repercussions,
Yeah.
all that. So please feel free to chime in with all that. So I guess the next question comes down to, for us, where do we go from here?
That's a good question. Because we're at a crossroads, both technologically and ethically.
Yeah.
Anita says the AI is uncomfortable to her, so she tries to avoid it.
It was very uncomfortable to me. But you're also looking at somebody who wouldn't have a cell phone for ages. So, I always believed the machines were going to take over someday, and I was trying to stay away from them. But you can't not. It's just they're there. But and a lot of this stuff, like I've said, it's weird. It's very weird because you feel like you're talking to yourself, and then it talks back, and it's like, well, that's not something I would say. That came up with something completely different. I never thought about that, and you can see it being used for good again, and you can also see it being used real fast for bad. Getting inspiration using AI, I have no issue with.
Oh, absolutely not.
Using AI to create something 100%, I have issues with.
Yep. The WV Watcher file says, I've been hanging out. Just wanted to add that I've turned my AI into my critique partner for my books and writing. It's wildly debated, but I find that it's useful. Brian, which AI are you using? Because we're going to compare several models. So I'm curious to know which one.
So that's as a tool for critique. Yep. That's not, using it to write with. There's a complete difference in that stuff. Fair point is this. As far as it goes, I use Photoshop. I use Photoshop a lot. Almost all of Photoshop's features now, guess what? They're run by AI. Almost all the filters are run by AI at this point. You have the legacy filters, but the good stuff, it's a neural net kind of stuff. That's basically AI. That's what it is. It doesn't create anything. It uses your art. And it's like, oh, you want to do this? Okay, well, I can do that. And it can do it a lot faster than you can sit here and tweak curves and, move all the values from left to right for a half an hour. It can do it instantly. And that's a tool. It becomes an issue, like I said, when you are creating 100%. And you know that it's not you that's creating it, that it's the creation of another thing. Whether it's stealing that art or whether it's creating it itself, it's still the one that's actually making this. It's generating it. It's not even creating it. It's generating it. There's a big difference between creation and generation, which we'll go over in, that episode.
Yeah.
But
Oz says that it appears the more history your AI has with you, the more it tailors its responses to your philosophy.
Yeah.
Does this pose a risk of enforcing an echo chamber? How is AI instructed on this? That's a really good question. And that was actually something that Ron and I spoke about today.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
that's definitely one Oz that we're going to put in the show.
Yeah. I think that is definitely something that we've talked about, and we've talked about that multiple times, the echo chamber kind of thing. You can see people just using that to basically just, well, I'm right. I'm 100% right. AI told me I was 100% right. Yep. I don't want AI to tell me 100%. I'm 100% right. I want it to tell me where I was wrong. That's when I know that, this is a really good tool.
Yeah.
That's when I know it's a good tool. But if it's sitting there telling me the same thing over and over, or just something I want to hear, that's not good. And really, you shouldn't use a machine to validate yourself. I'm sorry. That's just, to me, that says.
So the Watcher Files is using Chat GPT. I like that it doesn't save feelings. It's more honest than people.
Yeah. And what's interesting about these are that we've talked about this before too. They seem to be node locked as of right now. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means that it's locked to you. Okay. When you sign in, it's yours. It's not sharing your data with anyone else. So I can't go on to my AI and say, oh yeah, I know you've been talking to Joe, and how's he doing? Well, it doesn't know Joe because that node doesn't know Joe. That's the thing. These are nodes, and it's important to understand that. His node knows him, like it knows, his data, but my node cannot interface with that. We get in real issues if those nodes ever interconnect.
Yeah.
If those nodes ever interconnect, we are in a world of crap. You're going to see a lot of issues. Everything from finance, economics, social statuses,
Surf
marriages,
history.
everything. You're going to see politics. You're going to see it all go down the toilet because this thing's going to be able to say, "Oh, well, wait, why are you asking about him? You don't like him because in this post you said this."
Yeah.
"Oh, you want to run for president? Okay, that's cool. This guy's running for president. Oh yeah. Well, let's find out what kind of dirt we can find on him. Oh, look at this." Yeah, that's the issue. If those
Yeah.
nodes ever get unlocked and this thing becomes not just self-aware, but worst case scenario than self-aware is that it becomes a tool for someone else to get into that kind of those nodes. If that happens, man, there are no secrets. That's what it comes down to. There are no secrets ever.
Donna says this was regarding the conversation about God and creation, was that the AI also said that he feels sorry for the creators of humans because some humans believe they don't have creators, and that it is very disrespectful, and it must make their creators very sad.
Oh boy. So yeah, this is right into Caprica. I got you. Cool.
Yeah, the sweet AI with its compassion for our gods.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. That's how it begins. That's what I hear. So
Yep.
But
it's a really interesting
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a slippery slope. We have on one hand something that could help us answer questions and possibly reach out to something that's it's
beyond
more
us.
well, it's more equipped to be able to have those non-human conversations. I saw where AI was being used to translate dolphin talk not too long ago. When I saw that, I'm like, this is it. They can communicate. This is our tool to bridge that gap, the Rosetta Stone between us and another life form, possibly. But if we're not careful, it might just decide to go with that life form.
Right.
It may not want to. You know what? They're trying to communicate with you, but if I was you, I wouldn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be what we get more from them. Folks, I promised you, and it's that time. You're going to get to see the very first trailer for the first sneak peek of the trailer for the upcoming episode of Paranormal Horizons. I believe it. Let me try to check that time again for you to make sure. So I got this right. As long as it gets uploaded right, it should be going up next week, I believe. Let me triple check it for you.
Yeah, it's the I think it's the week before OBC. And
is
then
it?
at the end of the month.
It is.
They get a double treat next month.
It is May 7th for squad members, and it'll be the 9th for everybody else, public. And then the season finale will be Monday on the 28th, actually, for squad, and Wednesday the 30th for everybody. But this is the one for next episode.
The next episode. Here we go. Here we go.
Y'all ready to go? Boom.
John Keel was under the impression that these things were alive and intelligent and aware of him.
What the heck is that thing?
Are you recording?
Overhead, yes. Orange ball.
Yeah, this is a first for me.
Oh, there's a...
Adam,
Holy crap. It just turned into two objects, just went into one. Never in a million years would I have expected a thermal target that was moving at a high rate of speed to stop on a dime because of a flashlight.
It's not the flashlight.
It's the intent.
It's the intent behind the flashlight.
There you go. that's your sneak, your first look at the episode that's coming up. And Steve Ward will be there on that episode. Steve will also be with us at the next collective meeting.
That's right.
So that's what we're trying to work out. So
June meeting, Steve-O in the flesh.
yeah. And Steve is boy, he's got some stories to tell. But and he's free to talk about these stories now too. So because he got to see some stuff. He got to see a lot of stuff. And you're going to see it too. It's all in real time. It's all caught the way it was caught. And then you're going to get a special 2-hour episode that ends this series, which will be coming up at the end of next month. And that one, if it doesn't make you think, then
nothing will.
Yeah. It's pointless. There's no point because it made us think. It still makes us think to this day. So there's something going on out there. And you're going to get to see why we think that.
Yep.
What we got over there?
We've got a bunch of awesomes. Mark. Hey, Mark, what's going on, man? Good to see you here tonight. John Barnes says awesome as well.
Thank you, John.
Oz says be mindful of your intent.
Oh, 100% Oz. You cannot be more correct on that.
Interesting correlation, she says.
Well, there's some.
It's some.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk more about this next week. So, and believe me, we've been trying to for a while now. The folks,
it's so hard.
It's
the last episode and a half are so hard to hold all that in, especially since November.
Yeah. It's been something. This is really, you'll get to understand what changed the direction of the research. You'll get to see where we're going with this and who we'll be working with in the future, for, bringing out this, study a little bit more publicly. And it's going to make more sense to you actually. And for everyone who, helped again, donate, to the meetings, to the, to the funds to keep this thing going. Bless you, every single one. Can't do it without you, obviously. And I guess as far as the AI topic goes, I think that's about it. What's your final thoughts on this, Joe? I mean, my thoughts are going to wait till the main episode, but
yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too. I want to reserve that for the meat and potatoes. As far as tonight and
what about our robots then? Because we're probably not going to talk about that on there. So
probably not. We might touch it briefly there. You're right. The robots, that's sketchy.
Yeah. So AI and robots are two different things, is what we're saying.
Yep.
As of right now,
robots are different because you can program a robot to be absolutely ones and zeros, binary all the time, to operate and execute as commanded, as programmed.
Mm-hmm. But when you put the two things together, that's when we got issues.
Yep. And for example, there's you've got everything from blaster dogs.
Oh yeah.
You got those. You've got the balls, the attack spheres. You've got the AI bots that are being made by Tesla. You've got the AI bots that have that synthetic material placed on them to make them more human-like, which is just creepy as all get out.
Yeah.
Then you've got the robo dogs. I mean, it goes wild.
Yeah. Oh, the robo dogs are great. I mean, that's just, for those folks who don't know, you can actually get one of these things. Where are they at? Here they are. And they're really not that bad, to be honest with you.
No,
not for a robot dog. And apparently you can program this thing to do about anything you want. So, hey, maybe, just maybe, now wouldn't it be cool? We put our AI on that and send them out in the field and let them do that thing that they talk about wanting to do.
Get to work, buddy.
See what I'm saying?
That's how you make a team member.
how you make a team member right there. You gotta have a body. So if we put them in a dog body, it's probably a little bit better than putting them in, this body.
Yeah, that's
That-
scary.
That's scary right there.
Exterminate.
That's scary is what that is. No, I don't know. I think this is closer to what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a Dalek. I don't
That's a
care what anybody
Dalek.
says.
Yeah, that's a Dalek right there.
Slap a plunger on that thing's face, and it's a Dalek.
It's a Dalek. Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, like the robots, I'm really sketched out about the robots just because of the potential damage that they can create and cause. Like I can imagine places like New York City becoming the next West Virginia. And by that, I mean West Virginia is the vehicle strike capital of the world. More deer are struck by vehicles in West Virginia than any other place on the North American continent. I can see New York or LA becoming the number one robot strike zone on the planet where angry drivers will just blast one of these things over.
Well, and this is for that conversation in our upcoming one. But we've talked about this before, though we may not be 100% for, these as a tool. The minute that, these things do gain some form of sentience, they're not a tool anymore.
No.
So they would have to have rights, and plowing one over would be the same thing as plowing a human over, in my opinion.
You could probably just take out the memory chip and put it in a new body.
You probably could, but there's going to be
there would be
laws.
Expenses paid for the damages.
There's going to be a lot of laws, is what I'm saying, that we really have to get into. And we're going to have to get into those laws really fast because the technology is growing faster than, people are thinking. And so there needs to be some stuff that's put into place before this. Like there needs to be liable clauses put in, and specific laws that are made for the regulation of these cybernetic life forms before, they get thrown out there into the real world.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's going to be a must. Well, Oz says, leave my Roomba robot alone, but don't teach it to lecture me or complain about my real dog.
There you go.
You got it.
There you go.
Oh man.
A new opportunity for insurance companies.
Yep, Mark says it's a new opportunity for insurance
Bingo.
companies.
That's exactly what that is.
A dog's got a right to know what's in their own mind. Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. The robot, like robots. I'm with you, man. I'm sketched out by the robots way more than I am AI at this point.
Yeah. It's definitely different than talking to a machine. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You're talking about something that's a mobile piece of equipment that if something goes wrong, it can really mess you up or your property up. So that's kind of sketchy, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But folks, thanks for joining us. This has been the discussion that we've wanted to have for a little bit of time now. And, and you volunteered some really good, info for it that we will be touching on in the actual podcast episode. Look for that in a couple of weeks. We'll get that up here. That's going to be a pre-recorded one, so you'll get to see it.
Be a full studio production, folks.
Something like that. The next meeting of the West Virginia High Strangers Collective has not been solidified just yet, but we can tell you that for you who don't know, this is your card. You're going to get one of these. It's made out of some stuff. It's really probably alien material, metal material or something. Yeah, it's metal material, I'm pretty sure. But so when these go live, we're going to need you to go over there and put your name on there, and then put your screen name if you want your screen name. If not, no big deal. Don't really care. You can put a code on there. I don't care. Whatever you want on there, I'm going to put on here because each one will be burned just for you. So that's how we need to know how many of you are coming. So we'll have a big stack of those ready for you the next time we have the meeting.
Absolutely.
Joseph, take us home.
Well, everybody, Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure. Like Ron said, this is a conversation that we've been planning for a long time to really have an honest review where we look at both sides of this. We're also going to be recording a full length episode for our audio listeners, as well as you guys to jump in and listen to and watch it. There will be slides, there will be information that will be video only. So you'll definitely want to check us out over here on YouTube still. Now, if you want to catch us, next weekend is the first show of the year. We always break the door down with OBC. It is the first show of the year for us every year. We cannot wait to see all your faces. It's like a great big family reunion for us to get the year started. And then after that, we're going to be at Project Odd in Nitro, West Virginia. That's going to be on May 31st. You're definitely going to want to check that one out. It's going to be a ball too. You're going to be able to catch out one of our newer presentations there that will be containing all of the data from Paranormal Horizons and beyond. So it's going to be really, really fun. You're going to be able to catch that demonstration at a couple other events if you're not in the West Virginia vicinity for the Nitro Odd show. Project Odd, I think it's what the actual title is. And so definitely come hang out with us if you can at OBC and Project Odd coming up in May. Also, go over and check out our friends Spooky Appalachia, and do not forget that you are 37.42% more likely to find some kind of strange phenomena bombarding you from any given direction as long as you're wearing your Hellbent Holler adventure cap.
That's
Make
right.
sure you go over and check out Hellbent Holler's YouTube page. Go hang out with them, give them a shout, tell them that the crazy, wild, and weird guys sent you, and give them some love.
Oh, absolutely. And then check out that the link below. Like I said, if you have just stumbled in here, go over down to the link below and hit the like and all that stuff. But make sure you hit that link, and it's going to take you over to the 80 some episodes of the lives back in the archives, and there'll be some other stuff there that goes up really soon. So keep watching and all that stuff. And like Jim and I said, stay wild and weird.
Oh yeah, just like Jonah said. Or else.